Here we go. It's here. It's my time, and this is the Tech Time podcast. And I am your host, Mr. Tech Time, Technique. He is me, and I am him. And this is the pilot episode. This has been in the works for a little while now, but we're here. And when it came to the first episode, it's one of them ones where it had to be my first guest. It had to be someone very, very special, someone that was close to me, and it was pretty much a no-brainer. It was, you could say, a unanimous decision. We'll get into why I put the emphasis on unanimous decision in a little while. So my special guest is, I don't even know where to start. Miss England 2021, 2022. She also has a genetics, master's degree. Did I get that right?
Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I look at her as my cousin, but to you guys, she's Miss England. She was top 15, top 20 in Miss World. And my first guest is none other than my cousin, Rehema Muthamia.
Hello. Oh, what an introduction.
How did I do that? Was that right?
No, it's pretty good. I just started quietly like, what is he going to say? I know you're going to drop in the family. Like, that's my cousin. This is blood. But like, thank you. That was nice.
Nah, thank you, man.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate you coming through, man. Thank you, man.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me as your first guest. That's an honor.
It was a no-brainer, though.
As it, like, I'd come and look at you sideways if you picked anyone. I'm saying it's honor, but I'm like, I was hoping.
Nah, it made sense, man.
Right, yeah.
Nah, thank you once again, man. How are you doing, though, man?
I'm good. I'm blessed and highly favored. It's a new month. It's a new day. It's a Sunday. Can I say what day of the week it is?
Yeah.
It's a Sunday. It's the Lord's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is good. I'm here with you. We're about to have a conversation.
Yes, definitely.
I think it's going to be good vibes.
No, 100%, man. Glad to hear that you're well. 2023. We're still at the beginning. Like, it feels weird because this is like the first year where January has gone very fast. I don't know. What do you think? Like, has it?
January came and went. Like, we're already like midway through February now.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, we're 6 months into the year. Like, I'm planning Christmas in my head, New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's happened.
I don't know what's going on.
I think we've spoken about this, like, obviously off camera, but like the older you get, time genuinely just feels like it flies by.
It does.
It's wild.
Real. It's crazy, man. It's actually crazy because, like, when you think about it, we're midway through February. Like 2023. Like, what's the start of the year been like for you?
Oof. Let me tell you, 2023 started off with a bang. Let me not lie to you.
Yeah.
Within 4 days of the year starting, I was on a flight off to the States. Like. You know this. Anybody that knows me, I don't like to be anywhere for too long, especially in London.
Yeah.
So like, I'm ready every month. I'm like, where can I go?
Real talk.
If it's like a weekend, I can book to go anywhere. But like the year started off with a huge bang. I actually went to visit Miss World America. She's my good friend Shri Saini, who's the second runner-up at Miss World.
Shout out.
Shout out to Shri. Hey. So she like was so humble to invite me for her 21st birthday.
Ooh, happy belated.
Happy 21st.
Yes.
21st. We're all 21. So like, yeah, we traveled all over like Seattle. We went to Canada. I went to the Miss Universe final. It was just like...
Ooh, what was that like? What was Miss Universe like?
I mean, for those of you that don't know anything about the pageant space, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, I think you've come to know now. Like, it's huge. If you don't know, you don't know. But if you know, it's a world of its own. It was incredible. Like, we flew out from Seattle to New Orleans. So that was crazy in and of itself. I was like, 1 minute I'm in Vancouver, now I'm in Seattle, now we're in like Louisiana.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Just like the atmosphere.
Vancouver, Seattle
to New Orleans in Louisiana. Mind you, the States is huge.
Yeah.
Like, now that I've traveled there and been there for long enough, I'm like, it's like a 5-hour flight within one country, which is like crazy for me.
Mental.
But it was amazing. Just the production. We were close to the stage. Miss America, Miss USA won. Well, there's a difference, by the way. There's technicalities. But that was like 2.5 weeks into 2023. Like, how do you top that?
That's cold, man. That's lit. Let me
ask you a question. How has your 2023 gone?
2023's been, do you know what? It's all about like just a building thing for me. Like, we're gonna speak about 2022 in a second, but when I came into 2023, I had like a goal and a vision. I said, 25 now, this is when I need to be starting building my platform, building my brand, building Tekk time. So yeah, no, it's been a good one, man. It's been good. Had a few setbacks, but we're here. We got here. So I'm excited, man. It's been good, man. It's really, especially coming off the back of a really, really good 2022.
Yeah.
Speaking of 2022, a lot happened for you that year.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, man.
What year has not been peaceful?
No.
Every year something is going on.
Yeah, it's just like, so 2022, I know we've just spoken about 2023, and it's really, really tough to speak about it because we're so early on in the year, even though it doesn't feel like it. But 2022, what was that like?
Wow, 2022. Maybe I should just like take it back to 2021, to be honest, because I feel like since my life kind of took a shift as of August 2021. So that's when I won Miss England. And just the trajectory. I was like, what is he pointing at? That's the crown. That's my crown. But yeah, so I won August 2021, and just like my life has just been back to back. Something has been happening. I'm either traveling or at Miss World multiple times. Again, maybe for those of you, should I give like an introduction to what beauty pageants are? So like Miss England is a beauty pageant. It's a competition here in the UK. It was founded off the back of Miss World, which is the first and oldest beauty pageant. And again, not everybody knows about beauty pageants. They may have like negative connotations, and there's a whole kind of series of that. But yeah, so I won that back in 2021. And life, like I said, it's just been, I'm here, there, and everywhere. So 2022 was just me at Miss World for the second time.
Yeah.
Going to events around London, traveling to like Turkey, Mauritius. So just, I've been booked and busy.
Nah.
In the best way possible.
I know. Man, better than anyone, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I have to give credit to everyone that participates in these beauty competitions. Like, I apologize, because all I thought it was, was, all you have to do is look pretty, do a few walks up and down, and that was it. Like, speak to us a little bit about, like, the things that go into pageantry. And, do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't understand it. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. So please, man, tell us about that.
Gosh, I think I didn't even understand it. Because mind you, entering Miss England was my first ever pageant. Like, I knew of it. I had an interest. But I didn't really see myself represented. So I was just like, what am I going to do in a beauty pageant? Until I got into it. But I think I still had that same sort of mentality of it's just women that look a particular type of way, that just walk up and down on a catwalk, occasionally wear a bikini, and then whoever they think is the best wins. That is not the case, as I came to find out. I promise you, like, I worked a corporate 9-to-5 job up until recently, and that was less stressful than doing a competition. So really, what beauty pageants are about these days, they've sort of evolved from what they were previously. It's about, women empowering other women, wanting to make a change, fighting for a social cause. So there's a lot of charity work, outreach into the community. Of course, there's like catwalk lessons, and those are not easy. Walking in 6 and 7 inch heels in a tight dress on a stage where there's hot lights, people looking at you, you're trying to smile, look pretty. Like, it sounds superficial, but like it's an art in and of itself. Having to be a diplomat, like I've been put in rooms with like foreign dignitaries, tourism boards, like high commissioners, and then little children. So it's just, you have to be such a multifaceted all-round person. So it's a lot less superficial than I think people like to think it is.
No, 100. Like, because like when I was seeing like the things that you had to do, and because there were certain things that you had to do where I had to drop you off to these places.
Oh yeah. I don't drive, guys. So he is my resident driver in London. We thank God for a younger brother.
Literally, man. So like, so you going into it, you were just like, you didn't anticipate it being as difficult as it ultimately was.
Yeah.
Right. So when you got into it and you're, you know, seeing it, was there ever a point where it's like, oh man, like fuck this shit, man, this is
Frequently.
long,
No,
like,
let me be very
yeah,
honest here. I'm not going to sit here and say it was all like sunshine. It wasn't roses. It
yeah,
was obviously it's an amazing experience. I would never give it up for anything.
mm,
I'm blessed to have been able to do it, but it's not easy. And mind you, I was working a nine. We call it 9 to 5. It was like 8:30 to five
yeah,
thirty. Plus, I was in consulting, so I'm
mm,
also traveling. Um, so obviously, the positive experiences outweigh the bad.
mm,
But there were many times where I would be. I've worked 9 to 5.
mm-hmm,
I jump on a train at 7 p.m. I'm at Euston Station. I'm taking a train to Manchester, which is like 2.5 hours. I have a photo shoot the next morning. I haven't eaten. I haven't slept. I'm tired. I'm working like on the laptop, like for my work. And I'm like having mini breakdowns. I'll be honest with you. I'll be on
mm-hmm.
the phone with like my mum. Shout out to my mum.
Shout out
She
to Auntie Trish.
has really held it down for the last year and a half with my many
Yeah.
meltdowns. It's just about you're juggling so much, and naturally it weighs on you,
Mm,
but then you have to think, I'm loving this, so
yeah.
it almost, you just kind of like you accept it as part of the
Mm-hmm.
situation.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Is there any advice, like, because there's going to be people out there that do want to get into pageantry, that, you
Mm,
know, are vying to be, you know, the next, you know, Miss, whether it's Miss England, Miss France, you know, so on and
yeah.
so forth. What advice would you give to those that are looking to get into pageantry?
Oh, I like that. I'd say go for it. Honestly, it just having the thought in and of itself means that this means something to you. I think the biggest thing that we have to overcome is our own thoughts, our own fears, you know, overcome that,
Hmm.
all the time. As Nike says, just do it.
Just do it. Yep.
If it's an
Yeah, yeah.
application you need to fill out the application. If it's training that you have to go for the training. If it's public speaking, charity work,
Hmm.
just go for it because you never know what might come from it.
Yeah.
If I hadn't filled out the application July
Yeah.
2020, it was even July, June, May, almost 3 years ago at this point, I wouldn't have gone through any of this.
Hmm.
So it's about stepping out in faith
Yeah.
and then seeing where that will take you.
Yeah, definitely. What actually made you want to do it?
Me,
Yeah.
oof, gosh.
Because you know what, that's a question. It's crazy because I've never actually asked you that question. Like, what
I don't
made
think you
you?
have actually. No, you
Nah, I
haven't.
haven't.
You really haven't.
So I thought, you know what? Let me save that question for this platform.
For when there's cameras around and a
Exactly,
microphone.
exactly, literally. So, like, yeah, what was like? Take me back into the process of like,
Mm,
because you know, just for a little background, you applied through Miss All African Colors, right?
yes, yes,
And that
yes,
was a
yes.
new thing at the time. That
Yeah,
wasn't something that had been established. Yeah, that was the first year.
yeah.
So take me through that and the why as to why Rehema did it.
Okay. So it was 2020. So we were in the pandemic. We were all trying to grapple with the world. We don't know what's happening in the world. We're stuck at home. We're outside. We're back at home. Boris was confusing us all.
Yeah,
Like, stay at
yeah,
home, don't
yeah.
stay, go out. Um, I had just finished off my master's degree. Um, and I was like, what do I do now?
Mm,
The world is in chaos. That feeling of like, I've now left an institution. You're so used to being institutionalized. My life is kind of set, and I'm going out and I'm like, I don't really have any job prospects of it now. I don't know what's going on in the world. Like,
mm,
what is going on? So I somehow found myself just like looking for opportunities online. I was like, do I want to go into modeling? Do I want to try something more creative before I kind of figure out my, you know, educational career? Um, and I just kind of stumbled across, I'd been approached a few years before for like some other pageants in the UK. But like, I was like, okay, Miss England kind of came up when I was searching. I was like, what can I do with this? Clicked on the website, and then I saw there was this information about a heat for like
yeah.
minority women, so
Hmm.
women from like an African background, Asian
Hmm.
background. And I was like, oh, charity work, talking about minority
Mm,
issues, empowering women of color in England. This is my kind of thing.
yeah.
So I sent the application off, didn't really think anything of it. I didn't hear back for about 2 months or
Mm,
so. And then I got a call like, hi, we're doing a photo shoot. You've been accepted. come along. And therein started the journey of like winning all African colors. That was the first ever heat. That took me into the Miss England final. And I'm summarizing everything because it's a lot. And then going on to win. Yeah.
Yeah, that's again, congratulations, man. It was so lit. Do you know what? It was lit because I was there when you won Miss All African Colours. I remember just how unreal it was. Just like, wow, like, because it's a big thing, man. Like when you see other people winning it, like it's big ups to them, but it's like when it's someone that's close to you, it hits a little bit differently, man.
It does.
And then you go on win Miss All African Colours. You then go on to Miss England, which is a whole other thing in and of itself. Because I remember being there in the finals.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow.
Smiling with all your teeth.
Like, real talk, like, man, I was lit.
Can we insert that picture? I have that picture.
No, yes. We have to.
Your teeth, you were smiling more than anybody else in that room, I promise you.
Because I was excited. Not only I was excited, but I was also lit, man. I was, that Henny and that Bossy was hitting, boy.
Drink responsibly.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, like, so being in the moment, seeing all of it, like you had the whole panel, you had all these different people at these different tables, the sponsors, this and that. I was like, wow.
It was a lot.
It was a lot, man. Yeah. So like when you won it, and by the way, by unanimous decision.
Oh, here we go.
I need people to understand this, and I'm gonna look at the camera when I say this. When I hear unanimous, unanimous. That's basically a polite way of saying it wasn't even close.
Wow.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Wow.
No, for real.
Can you say that?
No, it was like...
You can say that, I can't say that.
Yeah, no. Like, it's true. Like, because whenever I listen to, like, when I watch sports and stuff and I hear Steph Curry won a unanimous MVP, I'm like, wow. Like, it wasn't close. So, like, obviously... Congratulations to everyone that participated and all of that. But man,
amazing guys.
Like what was that like? Just finding out, like, wow, it's England, like
Rehema. I promise you, and anytime anyone ever asks me this in like interviews, I'm like, I don't remember the moment. And I do, but I don't. It was just like, mind you, there were about 40 girls. We'd gone all the way to the middle. We were deep in Coventry.
Was it Coventry, Birmingham?
It was about Coventry. Was it Birmingham?
I think it was Birmingham.
It was like somewhere in between.
Yeah.
I think it was like CV something, but like somewhere in the Midlands. I'm sorry, we're from London. Anything outside M25. We're like somewhere out there.
Yeah.
Like there's all these girls we've been training. It's now been over a year of preparation. And the time is now. Your family and friends, like we had a whole table packed full of people, and it's your moment to like this is it. This is everything you're prepared for. And then when I heard my name, I'll send you the video. You can put this up, whatever you want to do. I think I was just like, everyone around me screaming in the background. I'm just like, what is happening? I'm going on stage. I don't even know what to do with myself. I don't know where to look. There's cameras, there's lights. Like I'm trying to look for my family. I can't. It was a lot. But the best feeling ever. And then to hear when they told me about like unanimous, mind you, this competition has been running for about 70 years now. Like in the history of this competition, for me to have been the first, like I don't comprehend it. I'm even like stumbling over my words. It's such an honor to have not only been unanimous, be a woman of color. Like we're British, but we're not from here. And like to be representative of not just myself, but like minority women in the UK, England. So humbling.
Yeah.
So humbling.
Nah, I can imagine. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
It was just so surreal. And with that, it comes with a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And even the build up, because I really wanted to ask you, you've gone from someone that's very, very to themselves.
Very private.
And now, like, you've gone from one extreme to another. It's not like there's been, how like, I'll use the analogy of like a baby, right? A baby, the baby goes from not being able to walk, you're having to cradle them, then you roll around, front to back, then you're rolling, then you're standing up.
Yeah.
You didn't get any of that.
There was no crawling.
You literally went from being cradled to walking.
To running.
Running, yeah.
When you're walking, we were running. Yeah.
So like, what was it like now, you're getting tabloids, like I can't again.
Let's not even give
Yeah,
them any
let's not even give them the
some
airtime.
yeah.
Yeah, you're getting tabloids, putting misinformation out there about you.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Oof. Nothing can prepare you for
Mm.
that. Um, absolutely nothing. Like you said, you know me. I'm such a private person. I went from having like the private Instagram with my few hundred people, like post once a year, if
Mm.
anything, like everything is on a need to know
Yeah,
basis.
yeah,
If you
yeah.
don't know, you don't know.
Mm.
Um, to go from that to now having your life, not just like obviously your name is going to be there, and I expected I would be
Yeah,
out in the public. I've won a competition and I'm going to represent England, the
of
whole
course.
country, on a worldwide platform. That's going to come. Um, but to have, I had journalists turning up at my door. I don't even know how they found my address. My flatmates at the time are telling me this is a journalist from me from X newspaper. I'm getting phone calls. I'm getting like it's a lot. And like I said, nothing can prepare you for it. You just you just experience it. And obviously I can say now, what is it, almost 2 years into the process,
Mm.
I know how to handle myself. Like
Yeah.
journalists come, I know how to answer,
Mm.
like PR queen.
Yeah.
But when it first happens, it's a shock to the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Is there anything, now that you've been through it, and I know you bring up a good point. You don't know until you experience it, right?
Mm.
Is there any steps that can be taken to like better prepare, if that makes sense? I don't know.
I don't think there is.
You just have to go through it,
You
basically.
just, I think you just have to have a good support system.
Okay.
I think that's the most important
Mm.
thing because you can't control outside forces.
Yeah.
Outside of yourself, you can't really have any control,
Mm-hmm.
external situations. Um, the most important thing is to have people around you that, pour into you, that can give you words of advice, that support you when you're having a bad day, when an article comes out and says all kinds of personal or wild information. You know who you can go to for that, to have that support system.
Yeah.
They are the backbone.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing nothing can prepare you.
Yeah.
I just say, if this is for anybody out there that this happens to them, lean on the people around you. I
Mm-hmm.
leaned on you guys, leaned on friends, the rest of the family. um it comes with the territory. What can I say?
Yeah.
you know
Like, but did you expect it to this level? Like, was that something that because when you win a tournament like that,
Mm.
you obviously know that there's going to be attention that comes with it, right? But
Yeah.
you're not. That was a lot.
it,
Like,
no
that
it,
was a lot.
it was a
Do you know
lot.
what
It
I'm
was a
saying?
lot.
So
I think for me I was more so understanding, or I wasn't naive about the situation because I'm a Black woman that has won a competition in a majority Caucasian
yeah,
country to represent a country that is not my heritage.
yeah,
So I knew that was going to
hmm
bring, some form of press and public interest. So I was aware of that. I was aware to, dealing with
yeah,
racists, trolls, all of that. But for me, where it became an issue as well, my personal information in my personal private life that I had not shared with more than 3 people, um, is now public news.
mm,
Like, not that I'm telling you, you can go and Google search me and see the articles, but there are newspapers out there that have personal, private information that I didn't plan to share with anybody.
yeah,
And that's now there for the rest of my life. Um, you know, it is what it is.
yeah,
Um, but I think, I think God had a plan for it, and I've been able to make, turn lemons into
yeah,
lemonade. Um, so I think it's just all in God's plan.
yeah.
So I can't. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
And no, you handled it like a pro, man. Like,
Thanks.
you absolutely smashed it, man. So that winning Miss England, you go on to Miss World, and that was what was that? December? Was that
That was December 2021.
okay?
Yeah.
So that happened December 2021. But something happened in December 21 where it got pushed, you know,
Oh,
back. No, back. forward, back?
Later.
Later.
Postponed.
Yeah, that's the
Postponed.
one I'm looking
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
Postponed until March.
Yep.
So what was that like? You know, you've prepared, you know that December, this is the time that's happening, you've even had, my mum traveled,
Oh my God.
yeah,
Our family flew all the way to
all the way
can I say Puerto Rico? Like, that's
yeah,
not around the corner.
exactly, exactly,
That's-
literally. So to find out that it's not happening,
Mm,
after, you had your mindset December, like what
yeah.
was it like having to find out, we have to, push it back, postpone it so much?
I mean, I keep saying like I can't even explain. So mind you, again, I feel like you need to like take it back so people can understand. I won right at the end of August 2021. May as well have been September. And then I had to fly out for Miss World. So people that don't know Miss World is the international competition where each country would send their delegates, so like Miss Guinea, Miss Venezuela, South Africa. Every candidate is sent to represent their country on the world platform. And so we all flew out to Puerto Rico. We went to Puerto. You should have come to Puerto Rico.
Oh man,
You were working. You had things to
yeah,
do.
it was tough.
You're a
Yeah,
busy
the
man.
schedule. Yeah,
But the final was in Puerto Rico, which is amazing in and of itself. And you're out there for a month, and it's basically another competition. So now you're competing with. There was about 100 of us, women from almost, well, not every country in the world, but like every corner of the world. I'm meeting women that some don't speak English. I'm learning different cultures. Just I think it's the most beautiful thing, the best experience I've had.
Yeah.
So I started my training, let's say, for Miss World in September, and then middle of November I had to leave. So mind you, I only had like 9 to 10 weeks to prepare for the international competition. And that's PT sessions. I'm doing bleep tests. I'm in the gym 3 times a week. Yeah, have that face because I don't go to the gym. I don't go to the gym. Amani was in the gym 3 times a week. I had a PT.
The thing is, yes, I do remember this, and it's just like I was confused as to like what, how, why did you have to go through?
Because they have, mind you, this is now an international competition, so everything is on a different scale.
Yeah.
Like if you go and research anything about beauty pageants, the top 2 or 3 they're intense.
Yeah.
So they want you to not only be a woman of like stature, you are one for the community, you are educated, you should be good at sports, you should have a talent. Like you have to be a multifaceted person. So I had to be in the gym. I was boxing multiple times a week. I'm running in the cold. Yeah. And then, mind you, again, I'm working at this point. So I'm working, I'm leaving my job, I'm rushing to the gym, I'm doing my 1.5 hours. The next day, I'm going to the other side of London to do like my salsa and like talents lesson. I'm filming for my charity. So just like, when I tell you, it was like 10 weeks of intensity. And then I went off to Puerto Rico. It was a month.
Yeah.
We have our incredible activities, cultural activities, meeting different women, doing our competitions, rehearsals for the final. It was meant to be like the biggest thing, and it's the 70th.
70th anniversary.
70th anniversary of the competition of the oldest pageant in the world.
Yeah.
And so we were meant to have every artist, the people from Danza Kuduro, like every Latina and Latino artist was coming out. It was a big show. But obviously it was in the pandemic.
Yeah.
And there's only so much you can do to contain
100%.
a spreading of COVID
Definitely.
among all these people on a resort in Puerto Rico. So essentially what happened was the final was cancelled the day of the final. And at this point, we had done our rehearsals. My mom, your mom, our family had flown all the way, and then it was cancelled. The day of, there was a COVID spread.
Yeah.
And they just thought, it's better for us not to go on and then have...
You got to think about the safety.
You have to. You can't now have an arena full of tens of thousands of people and you're just spreading COVID. It's not responsible. So I think it was definitely the right choice to make. But so we had to come back again, which is such a shame. I had to go back to Puerto Rico 3 months later.
Literally.
But yeah, so essentially all of that to say that we then had to go back again.
Mm-hmm.
But that was for the top 40. So,
Yeah.
So of the 100, those of us that made it into the top 40 came back again.
It's a huge achievement. How many girls again?
It was about 100 girls. 100 women. Let me not call them women. They are women. Educated queens from every section of the world. So yeah, I was one of the top 40. I went back and we were finally able to have our final. And I mean, I went to Puerto Rico twice.
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
I'm not complaining.
Listen, yeah, I wouldn't
Really
be complaining either, boy. Literally.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Yeah, that's lit, man. What were the like? What was it like with all of these women, different backgrounds? Like, was there like any like egos? Like, was there, you know? Because I can only imagine how competitive it was. So let's go. Okay, so Miss England, what were the the differences between Miss England, Miss World? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Oh, I feel like am I breaking pageant girl code here?
sorry,
guys. I have to check myself. We are a strong community of women. Naturally, there's ego.
Of course,
naturally, there's ego involved. It's very much a sisterhood. I've met, I think, women that I'm going to be friends with for the rest of my life. From Malaysia, Finland, Kenya, like US, just incredible women that I hope to stay in contact with for the rest of my life. But naturally, unfortunately, as I know, mind you, I went to an all-girls secondary school, so I know what it's like to have just women in one space.
Yeah.
We're not always the most empowering of each other, which I think is to our detriment at times. I think we need to uplift each other a lot more than we do. But naturally, you have 100 women that have come and won a competition in that country. They feel how they feel.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Some girls in that countries are huge celebrities, like gigantic, like huge celebrities. Depending on the country that you're from, in this country, it's not as big as it is, let's say, in Venezuela, in Colombia, in South Africa, in the Philippines. These women, when they win, they have made it. They're the creme de la creme. Not that I'm saying these are the girls that have the biggest egos, mind you, for the record. Actually, they weren't. They really, really weren't. But you have people that feel like, they're the best of the best. End of the day, it's a competition. Like, there's only one winner. Everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to have their airtime when we're being recorded. Like, but it comes to the territory. And like, I went to an all-girls school, so it was...
So would you say like
nothing.
A lot of the experiences that you went through kind of prepared you for that moment?
100%.
Yeah. Like
100.
That's a good point.
I think like, obviously I can't compare to other of the women's experiences, but I was like, oh, I can do this. Mind you, we were there together for a month. We're sharing a room with someone that I don't know. Obviously I got to know. Shout out to Miss Island.
Shout out
to Pamela. But I'd been to boarding school, so I knew what it was like sharing with other people. I'd been to an all-girls school, so now I'm with 100 women, basically in a boarding school level. So I felt like I was very prepared. So I was like, all right.
That's lit.
I was very chilled. Mind you, ask any of the girls. I was just like, this is great. This is amazing. I was appreciating the moment. I didn't want no drama. I'm just dancing. I'm having the best time of my life.
I could. Do you know what? I was living. They say, you know how like when people have children, they say they live vicariously through their kids. I was living through you. Literally, it just looked so lit, man, and I was just so happy and I was so proud. Seeing you doing what you was doing.
Thank you.
And you actually mentioned something that was very interesting. I was going to bring up. So let's go back a little bit, even further. So you went to boarding school, right? So you was born here, raised here in North London. And then you've now gone from, because how old were you when you...
I was 7.
So you were 7 when you went to boarding school?
Boarding school, yeah.
So what was it like going from England, Kenya, 2 completely different...
I love that you know this information already. This is not even like I have to tell you. Yeah. He knows.
Yeah, exactly. So...
I left him.
Literally. So like, what was that like, going to boarding school? going from that extreme to another?
Gosh.
Because you've had that extreme of going from just quiet to herself, Rehema, to now Miss England, top 15, top 20, Miss World. Gone from that extreme to another extreme, and then even at a younger age, you went from England to Kenya. What was that like?
Yeah, you're just making me sound like I've been about. I've been about. I'm here, there, and everywhere. Gosh, I have to take myself to 7-year-old me. An adventure. I think I was very, very young. You know, I have siblings that are about the same age, 6 and 9, roughly.
Yeah.
The thought of them, mind you, I went to boarding school in Kenya. Like we lived here. So I was not only in a different city, different country, different continent, in the middle of nowhere. Like I went to, it was a British boarding school. Shout out St. Andrews, Turi. If
Oh,
anyone's
yeah.
watching from Turi,
Yes,
hi.
yes.
But gosh, I think at 7 years old, you think, can I say I felt independent? I became very independent because living in boarding, you become, for anyone that's been in boarding school, you grow up really quickly, you mature very fast, and it's like your own little people living in your own little world. I don't know if anyone's seen Bugsy. What's that show? Not Bugsy Malone. There's a movie with the little kids and they're basically acting like adults and they drive cars. Anyway, it's like a film from the 1980s. It
Okay,
stars
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jodie Foster.
Okay.
Yeah. If you've seen that, it's basically that.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know if I remember me moving. I just know I was like, this is incredible. I'm going to Kenya.
So you was excited?
Initially I was very excited.
Okay.
But obviously the moment my mum left me,
Yeah.
the tears started
Yeah.
flowing, and I'm like, hold on a second, I'm in Kenya.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not round the corner. I can't curl up to my mum. I can't I'm by myself. And I was there for about 3 years.
It was 3 years,
It was
wasn't
about
it?
3 years,
Damn,
3 4 years. I
yeah.
came back, just before I went to secondary school. I think it was some of the best years of my life, but also I was very young. I was too young. Given the chance or the opportunity, maybe I would have gone for it a bit older.
Okay.
But I think it made me grow up a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So I now came back very self-sufficient. I was 10, 11 years old, but I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I know how to handle myself. Curriculum is so much better. I'm coming back and I'm like, you guys are still on this?
Yeah,
We've been there, done that.
So you was a bit more advanced because
but also that's
that.
coming from a place of privilege because, I was, because of, my mom working so hard. And mind you, she was a single mother that really worked to put me through a private boarding school education. You're pushed a lot further.
Yeah.
You have opportunities given to you that now when I came back to a state school, we don't get.
Yeah.
No,
100%.
Yeah, but I think that definitely helped me in the sense of having a wider view of the world, being able to adapt to different cultures because I met people from all over the world, being very independent. I think it equipped me to where I ended up today and at Miss World. Funny enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you said that so in other words, you wouldn't have it any other way, but you would you have preferred it going later on?
Maybe a little
bit.
a little older.
Okay, no, fair enough.
older.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah,
So
yeah.
then we fast forward. You've done secondary education. You've done your A levels, and you've got a degree in genetics, master's degree
Yeah.
in
I love it. We
genetics.
gotta add the
Congratulations! No, you got to. That's a big thing. That's a big feat. The reason why I bring that up is we live in a world where it's very creative now. And what I found with, especially in African households, and that's even with my Asian friends, they really push the education, and not more. They don't really push the creative side. But now there's so many creative opportunities. There's so many things to do creatively. I think maybe things would have been different. Do you think that you would have gone a different route if the opportunities now were afforded to you back then?
I think so. I really, really think so. Obviously, coming from African household, but our family is very different.
It's true.
Yeah, we've come from a different.
Yeah.
Our family is a lot more open than I'd say
Yeah.
maybe like the traditional or
Mhm.
the stereotypical
That's
African
true.
household.
That's true.
Yeah. So I'd say we're kind of blessed in that sense.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But it's still the mentality of doctor, lawyer, engineer.
Yeah.
Like those are the three careers.
Uh-huh.
Pick one.
Mhm.
And if you're not any of those three,
Yeah.
have you really succeeded in life? Like we came all this way, we struggled,
That's true.
brought you to the West for you to go and be an artist.
Yeah.
You want to draw?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you draw? You can draw after you've looked after your patients.
Yeah.
Or after you solved your case. So I think maybe for myself, I think I kind of lucked out in the sense of I was interested in both the sciences and like the creative arts.
Mm.
We went to stage school.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to out your business there.
Yeah.
But
no,
like,
go ahead. Please. No,
sorry.
no,
but like,
definitely.
we've been doing creative things since we were young. Like, we went to stage school when we were young. Like, we've been doing dance, acting, like, so we've been exposed to the creative world from a young age.
Yeah.
But that was always seen as a hobby.
Mhm.
It's never a career. It's like, oh, you like to do that. That's fun. Keep that as an after school thing or something you do after you finish your 9 to 5. So for me, I wanted to be an actress, in all honesty. You know, mind you, I got into like the West End kids. You know, if I continued with that, like the plan was to go and be on the West End or go off to Broadway. Like, I wanted to be a theater kid. I'm like singing Hairspray and all of that. That was like my love. But I was always told, you know, that can always come. Get an education first.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was like, okay, cool. Let me go be the doctor that you want me to be.
Yeah.
So that was the plan. But I was also still interested in that. But I think if given the opportunity or nurtured, or I want to say nurture because our families were like African or Asian or minority ethnic homes, have that mentality from a place of, I think, fear of not having safety and provision. Because if you get a good education, you're meant to go get a good job, your career is sorted, you have money, you're set. They want their kids to be okay and comfortable in life. Anything outside of that is, not only do they not understand it, but it's a fear of that. So I think it's stemming from a place of fear, which unfortunately trickles down into their children or the younger generation.
That's a good point.
But I think there's been a shift. I don't know if you've seen the shift.
Definitely.
Families and people are just now seeing that there are so many opportunities in the creative space. You know, you can have a podcast.
Yeah.
You can have a YouTube channel. You can go off and be a designer. Like, we have game designer. We have a game designer in our family, and he has a master's degree.
Yes.
So you know, like,
yeah.
There are opportunities in that space, and not everybody can go and do all these, let's say, stereotypical scientific jobs, or we need people in every industry. And if that's not the skills that you have or the skill sets that you have, why are we pushing people to go and do things that they are not even?
Nah, that's
really,
a good point. Nah, definitely. 100%.
That's my long-winded answer, you know.
We could talk
forever.
No, definitely. That's a really, really good one because and it's very interesting, just like in terms of how things have developed and, you know, because I think we were kind of like the last generation in terms of like the playing outside era, you know, because kids don't really, you know, now it's more like tablets and going on, you know, and you know, I bring that up because, you know, my sister's birthday is coming up and, you know, she's, definitely, shout out Mia. She asked me for an iPhone.
She asked me for an iPhone.
iPhone. But do you know what it was? She asked me, the reason why I say that, Rehema, is because she said, I laughed initially, but I was like, she said it with like conviction. And I was thinking, it just goes to like, it made me think because I was like, when we was younger, it was Game Boy, it was DS, it was PSP.
The good
do you know what I'm
days.
saying? So I'm like, to them, that's the equivalent. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's
True.
like, I don't know what it's going to be like, you know, when she's our age and then there's going to be another big thing technology-wise because we came up in the Blockbuster, HMV.
Oh my, not Blockbuster.
No, like serious. So it's just like,
no, you're right.
At first, I was kind of like not outraged, but I was like, "Wow!" Like she
like, how dare you ask me?
Enough to ask me.
No, but that's audacious. She asked me for an iPad also last year.
But
Girl,
still,
you mean to stop?
but you know what it is? No, Rehema, like I don't. It doesn't come from a place of like, because this is normal
That's
for
what they
them.
have.
It's normal for them. It's normal for them.
Yeah.
So for us, it sounds. It was probably like, and it got me thinking, because it was like, for our parents, it was probably like, wait, you're asking me for a Game Boy. You're asking me for it's the equivalent. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and it got me thinking, it's like, you know, back in the day, yeah, you didn't have obviously we weren't born back then, but there was typewriters. So imagine like when the typewriter came
We were
out,
not born.
and then there's the guy that's writing with feathered ink. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah. Yes.
So it's just like,
yeah.
yeah, man. It was just a thought, man. How things have developed, things have changed. I think they've changed for. I think there's a lot of good opportunities, but there's also the negatives as well. That comes with like social media, and we got to see it before it. We got to live a life before social media, and now we're living in the social media era. We saw it at the beginning, and now we're seeing how it's, on how it's gone on. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. I think if it was, if social media wasn't as big as it was, do you reckon, like in terms of what you're doing and stuff, would it have got the same sort of attention, like in terms of the things that happen?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think it would have. Or maybe no, it wouldn't have. Or maybe a different level and a different type. Because mind you, I think social media is a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
And it also depends on really how you as a user use social media, how you interact on social media, how you use it as a platform. Previously, let's say maybe in my situation, would have been on the TV, some newspapers, and that's really it. And with that, you weren't able to control your narrative. So we, at this point, with my phone right here, I'm now able to get my point of view across. I can get my voice heard. So if there's something that comes out in the newspaper that is derogatory or not true, I have the control and the power within myself to be like, hey, I'm about to jump on Instagram Live and be like, whatever you saw here is not true. That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That is falsification of the highest accord.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's a different type. But I think, not that you've asked me, but I think social media, I have a love-hate relationship with social media. But that's maybe the type of person that I am, because I'm out there, but I'm not out there. Do you understand? I'm a very private person. So I am very aware of how I portray myself in social media, how I use social media, the people that I follow, what I allow on my feed, what I want to consume. Because unfortunately, with the use of social media, we've seen the rise of, mental health issues, self-esteem issues, body image issues. So again, I think it's down to us as users of this platform to be very aware of how we can best use it and share information with each other that is beneficial, so that we collectively don't use this platform in a negative way, and focus more on the benefits of being able to connect with people.
Definitely, 100%. No, and I love the fact that you talked about the positive side of things in regards to social media, and you've been using it as a good tool in order to let people know about the charities that you've been a part of since Miss England and Miss World. Talk to us a little bit about Solace Aid. Did I say the name correctly?
Solace Women's Aid.
Solace Women's Aid. Sorry.
Yes.
Solace Women's Aid. You've also partnered up with like Tekk. Tell us a little bit about the brands you've worked with.
Yeah, so as being part of the competition, they're really heavy. The Miss World ethos is beauty with a purpose. And what that means is, they don't just want educated, nice looking women to be around. They want you to come and stand for something. And I think that was really actually what drove me, aside from just being interested into going into the pageant space. I felt like I had a voice, but I wasn't able to share my voice on a larger platform or a larger scale if it's just me and my 500 followers on Instagram. So with that, being in the competition, I wanted to raise awareness of domestic abuse, purely because of my own experiences, my own personal previous relationship, and the abuse that I went through. So I felt like, I've gone through an experience. I've come out it on the other side. I'm thriving, I'm flourishing, I'm moving on, I can now use my experience to help other women and pour into young women,
Definitely.
specifically women of color.
Mhm.
We don't really talk about, there's some subjects in our community that we just don't touch on. And abuse, we don't, it's unheard of. Or if we do hear about it, it's like, keep that at home.
Yeah.
Um, so I felt like I'm a 20 something year old woman. I've gone through this. I've come out on the other side. What can I now do to make an impact and help other women just like myself? So through the competition, I started my campaign, which was Phoenix Rising. That's about educating young women about, healthy relationships, abusive relationships, and the charities that they can go to. So Solace Women's Aid, I'm so, so, so proud to be a charity ambassador.
Shout outs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're doing
definitely.
a huge shout
Yeah.
out because they do incredible, incredible
Mhm.
work, not only to help victims, so women that have suffered abuse, but their children. They help, fight within the judicial system here in the UK, change laws about domestic abuse. I can sit here and quote so many stats. In the pandemic alone, the number of cases of domestic abuse, you're at home with your abuser, first
Mhm.
of all. You can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Rose by God, let me hope to not get this, but they more than doubled.
Yeah.
1 in 3 women in their lifetime between the ages of 18 to 65 will go through an abusive relationship. So for every 3 women that you see, one of them will have gone through something that can be very
Mhm.
traumatic. And if you have children from that, you're now passing on that trauma to your children.
Yeah.
So working with such an amazing organization like Solace, who get women or have women come to them that have run away from everything that they know, help them with their immigration statuses, put them back on their feet, women that have been physically abused, emotionally abused, sexually, financially, all forms of abuse. Um, it's amazing to see, and for me to be able to be a part of that and use the platform that I have, because I don't ever feel like I'm just here on this earth to
Mhm.
just live life and then be done.
Yeah.
I want to turn my pain into a purpose, beauty for ashes, and use the platform that I have on social media to talk about domestic abuse. I
Mhm.
had Instagram lives where I talked to, authors about abuse, financial abuse, just get the word out there so that we don't make it a taboo subject. There's no shame, there's no stigma. And that not only helps other women, but it's helped in my own
Yeah.
healing, honestly.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's how I kind of came about with the charity work that I do.
That's dope, man. And what you're doing, I think as well, it's important for women to speak up, especially someone of your caliber as well, because I think if they see, wow, like Miss England, Rehema, with all of these things that she's got going great, with all of that happening, and she's speaking up about this, she's
Mm,
been through it,
yeah,
that will then encourage the next person to be like,
hope
wow,
so.
like she went through it, this is something that I can relate to because I went through the same thing, and
Yeah,
they'll speak up, and then maybe that person through them speak, and then it
it's a
just keeps
domino
going.
effect.
Do you get what I'm saying? So
Exactly,
no,
exactly.
that's big, man. So shout out to
Thanks.
Solace Women's Aid, and shout out to all the charities that are doing great things as well in regards
Mm.
to that side of things. You, like I said, you've worked with Dental Care. You've also worked with PAX, right?
Oh yes,
Yeah, yeah,
shout out to Pax.
yeah,
That was great. They were my sponsors
yeah,
for like my hair
hmm
products at Miss World. Mind you, we've been going. I'm
yeah.
maybe. Do you go to Pax?
Of course, yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah,
you?
yeah. Because
Okay,
I get my
yeah. Ever
skin
since we're young.
products.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like
So
do
I
rags
was
and
just
stuff. Yeah.
like, wait, hold on. Is this the Pax
Hmm.
sponsoring
That's
me?
huge, man.
Now that was
Big,
huge.
big,
Thank
big,
you so
big.
much to Pax.
Yeah.
Peter from Pax. Call him
He's
Peter
lit. Shout out
Pax.
Peter as well,
Yeah,
man.
you've met.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
guys
yeah,
really
yeah,
got along.
yeah,
Clearly,
yeah, yeah. That's my G.
it's a good thing.
He's someone I would love to sit down with as well. So shout outs
Yeah.
to Peter. He's absolutely smashing it.
Huge
Yeah,
things. No, I
big.
think, the platform that I've been able to just like really, if it wasn't for the Miss England platform, work with different brands
Hmm.
from, the dental sponsors at the moment. Dentakai, I went to Turkey and I got my teeth done.
Hmm.
And, there's packs, there's dress companies, I've really been exposed to so much more um, opportunities now that I've passed on my crown to the
Mm.
next beautiful Miss England. I'm now able to go and reach out to brands and work
Yeah.
with them by myself.
Hmm.
So it's really opened up doors outside of just being a woman in a heel.
Yeah,
So like walking up and down the
yeah.
catwalk, which is very fun.
Yeah.
As you can see, I'm wearing heels. I don't really own trainers. I looked.
Mhm.
Never mind, I have a pair of trainers there. But I wanted to look good and keep the look going. I don't own trainers.
Yeah.
I looked at my wardrobe this morning before I left. I was like, I can count at least 25 pairs of heels and maybe 3.
Yeah.
I just...
So interesting. Do you know what? Shout outs to you women. I don't know how you guys do it, you know. It's a little stick and you guys are walking around and when your foot is like slanted at, you know what I'm saying? It's weird. Like, I don't know how you guys do it.
We'll buy you a pair. What size are you?
Definitely not. No, definitely not.
Just the try. Not for him.
Size 10, by the way.
Size 10.
You know
Where
what
am I going to find size 10 heels?
But Remy, big ups to you. There's also you know, speaking of opportunities that have come from it, you've also had the opportunity to do dinner date.
Oh yes.
You've done dinner date, and you also, there's another one I was going to mention as well. So there was dinner date, and there was also was it Good Morning, the ITV one? This morning. That's it. Let's start with this morning because you did that first. So what was it like? You got to work with Dermot O'Leary and Alison. Yeah. What was that like?
Yeah, so I was interviewed. So this was right after I'd won. So this is like 2021. It was 2021. Gosh, I feel like, am I getting old? Time is flying. But 2021, I was invited to go speak about me having won, and unfortunately, the racial aspect, this racism that I faced, which wasn't much in comparison to the people that are supporting me. But just nonetheless, it was there.
Yeah.
So I went and I was invited and I spoke to them about it, spoke about my charity work, spoke about being proud to be of Kenyan heritage, but I'm British. We're still British end of the day. My values are British and Kenyan. And I think this is what happens when you're a first generation in the West.
Yeah.
It's almost like you don't belong anywhere. I'm both British, but I'm also Kenyan.
Yeah.
You know, so I have my African values and I have my British values. And some people may see that as not like see it in a negative light, but I think it's beautiful. I'm able to represent many different cultures and different values. So yeah, I was invited onto this morning, had a great conversation with them. Hopefully they'll have me back anytime soon.
Yes.
If you want to have me back, you can shout me out.
Yes. Nah,
ITV. So yeah, I just that's where I sort of started my relationship with ITV. From there, are we going to talk about the other? We don't have to talk about the other one. We can jump over the other one. The other show.
Other show?
Never mind. The show I didn't go on, but anyway.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh my god! You know what? I was gonna bring that up. I was actually gonna bring that up, but we don't have to.
Yeah,
it is what it is, and we will be. That's fine. But dinner date.
We went on to dinner date.
That was lit. That was lit. What was that like?
That was an experience. So the dinner date producers. Shout out to the ITV.
Shout out to them, man.
ITV, they're great.
Yeah.
Even from the previous dating show that I didn't go on to, they're just a lovely group of people.
Yeah.
So they approached me and asked me if I wanted to go on to dinner date, and I was like, sure. Like, why not? I'm single. I'm ready to mingle. Let me go date a group of men on national TV. So that was an experience in and of itself. Literally, no, there was a lot that happened. I had just come back from like could we call it like a press tour, like a end of Miss England tour from Kenya. Arrived 3 days later, I'm shooting for dinner day. And for those of you, I mean, you should know that like the premise of dinner day is it's 5 menus. You pick from the 5 menus. Never seen these men in my life. I don't know what their names are. I don't know how they look. What do they do for a job? Like, who are they? Picked 3, and then I went on 3 blind dates with 3 really nice guys, by the way.
Oh no, it looks.
No, they're really nice guys. You can go watch the show.
When you spoke to them like off the air, like what was it like?
So I think it was more comfortable talking while they were rolling, or like after we were filming.
After filming.
After, oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Like texted a few. I actually need to reply to one of the guys' message. I need to reply to him.
Yeah.
But they're such lovely guys. Like, it's stepping outside of your comfort zone. I was like, why not? If I find the love of my life on dinner date.
Yeah. Who knows?
I mean, has it happened yet?
I don't know, you
I
know.
don't know if it
I
has.
don't think it has, you know.
I don't
I
think it
don't think it
has.
has. For as long as I've been watching,
No.
and it's been a while. I made an exception because I hadn't watched Dinner Date in years. I
Mm.
was like, nah, you're on it. Got
You
to.
can't not watch me.
Of course.
Ah.
Come on now, man. So that was lit, man.
It was
So when I heard about it, I was like, wow. Like this
crazy.
is like the shows that we would watch back then, and then you're on them now. Like, you know, seeing you on this morning, seeing you on Dinner Date, and I'm like, wow, these are shows. You know, I'd sit with my mum and watch, and now like I got my cousin on these
Just
shows.
jumping in an Uber
That's
and going
so
off to
dope,
the
man.
studios to
That is so lit, man.
crazy.
So nah, big ups, man. Honestly.
Nice.
In terms of like, you know, what's next for Rehema, and you know the opportunities that you'd like to get into.
Yes.
Yeah, let's speak on that, man.
Oh, the world is my oyster.
Mhm.
I really truly believe that. As you know, I left my job.
Yeah.
I left my job.
Mhm.
It was really difficult having to balance. I felt like I was living
I could imagine.
2 different lives.
Mhm.
Like I'm working consulting, I'm doing like tech consulting, and then I'm here. Literally, there were times. Should I even admit this?
It's up
There
to
are
you.
times
This is an
I'm
open
gonna.
space.
I mean, I've
Yeah.
left the job now. There are times where I'm on a meeting, like I was in Mauritius. Actually, there's one really bad day, but I've left the job now. I was in a meeting. It wasn't with a client, but we were like preparing for one of the clients, with like heads of the project, the team project. There's like 50 or 60 of us on this call, and I am dressed in a gown in a taxi going from one hotel to the next hotel with my data on, just trying to get some signal, like on this meeting whilst I'm on like an official Miss England trip. So like there were times I'd be in Bulgaria and I'm working and then I'm going off to have a lunch and then working again and I'm going for, so like it just wasn't conducive
Yeah, no,
to,
100%.
I couldn't give 100% to my full-time job and I wasn't giving 100% to the opportunities that I wanted to have outside of that. So I took the leap of faith and handed in my resignation some months ago, and I just felt like now was the time for me to use opportunities I have, venture out, do more modeling, TV presenting, influencing. So that's where I'm at now. And so I guess 2023, some TV opportunities are coming up, presenting
Amazing.
opportunities. I'm working right now with some brands to get some content out there. So
Amazing, man.
just, yeah, in the space of 2 years, my life has just sort of taken a completely different direction.
For real,
Huge.
man.
I was planning to go be a CEO of some company
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
But I'm the CEO of my own company.
Nah, for real, man.
No.
And like I said, I'm very, very proud. You know, seeing,
Thanks.
you know, from the beginning to where you are and where you're going. It's an amazing thing.
Thank you.
You know, so presenting, working with brands, you know, you're still, you know, content creating and stuff like that. You're traveling, which is lovely as well. I did want to ask, there was another question I wanted to ask you as well. Who were like your inspirations? Like in
Ooh.
terms of like, you know, and it could be, you know, whether it was pageantry, if there was someone that you looked up to there, or, you know, even before that, like with things that you was doing before, like who were some of the people that you kind of looked
Oh
up
my
to?
gosh, I feel like I have for
Inspiration?
so many different areas of my life. I wouldn't even say role models because I don't know if I heard this somewhere, but just like there's no one, inspirations I prefer better than a role model because role
Okay.
model, I'd rather have someone that I know personally and
Yeah.
they can pour into me and I can pour into them.
Yeah.
But inspirations, I'd say for the pageantry field, we'll start with that. The reason I even sort of came back on the radar about beauty pageants was because in 2019, there were 2 Black women that won the 2 biggest pageants in the world,
Okay.
Miss Universe and Miss World. Um, and they were Tony Singh, and it
Celebrity
was
like Tony
great song. What?
Banger.
I'm obsessed. Somebody needs when it came out, I was just like, wait, somebody needs to write a song
That's
about
a
me.
banger. Shout out to Popcard and Burner Boy, boy.
And then Miss
Literally.
South Africa, she won 2019, Zosie Toonsey. So seeing 2 Black women representing the world and being, you know,
Huge.
for the West, Black beauty was represented on a stage and celebrated. I was like, this is incredible. I want to be able to do that,
That's massive.
especially in the UK. And for me to have, I'm not calling myself an inspiration, maybe, I don't know. But to do that in this country, that's sort of led me to want to go and do that. Outside of that, career-wise, I love me some Michelle Obama. Michelle, do you know what it's having a powerful, a powerful Black woman that wants to empower young women, irregardless of race, irregardless of socioeconomic background, really standing up and fighting for something. And then I guess maybe spiritually and religious wise, Sarah Jakes Roberts, someone that can pour into me spiritually. So I'm really all about having Black, strong women that are doing something not only for the community, but for the greater good, and are able to use their voices for good. So I say those are my, for different areas, 3 or 4.
That's dope, man. Those are 2 really, really good ones,
Yeah.
Wow. Because, like I said, there's certain things that you and I have spoken about off air, but then there's a lot of things that I'm learning about with you in this conversation right here. So that's really, really good. I like those ones.
You should be taking some notes.
Oh, definitely, definitely. You know what? We're about to wrap up though, and I wanted to wrap it up with some. This is my quick hitter segment, where I just ask you, 3 or 4 questions.
Oh, let's do it. Should I
Yeah,
set
let's
up?
go. Now it's up to you, man. Let me.
I'm ready.
Cool. So first one, best advice you've ever been given.
Oh, best advice that I've ever been given. Oh my gosh, I've been given plenty of advice. Stay true to who you are. And it sounds simple and easy. But being authentically yourself, irregardless of what industry you're in, what background you're from, where you're going, is so important. Because I think it's easy when you get to certain spaces to want to maybe adapt yourself to the people that you're around, or adapt yourself to situations, or become something that you're not. And with that, how can you ever truly make an impact if you're not who you say you are?
That's true.
And setting out to do the things that you have set out to do. Yeah, you said quick, fast. I'm going to stay there. Yeah, be authentic. Stay true to yourself.
I like that.
Yeah, keep it up.
And this might be along similar lines, but favorite quote, if you remember one.
Ooh. There was one that I used. Oh my gosh. Early in the morning, I have forgotten this.
Nah, it's all good, man.
Malala Yousafzai. This is what I used for my charity project for Miss World. I can't. It was Malala. I need to find the quote.
Yeah, sure.
Let me find the quote. It's something about saying, she's using her voice. She's standing up for others.
Okay.
She doesn't raise up her voice just to speak for the sake of speaking, but it's so that other people can have a voice through her.
Yeah.
And that's me like butchering the quote because it's a beautiful quote, but I don't remember it.
Yeah.
But that would be my that's what I want to live by. Using the platform that I have, the voice that I have, to help uplift and raise other people.
That's lovely. That's a lovely sentiment. I love that one. If you could have dinner with 5 guests, dead or alive.
Oh my gosh.
Who would they be?
5.
5, yeah. You only get 5.
Oh God. Only 5.
Yeah.
Dead or alive. Definitely Michelle Obama. I would have dinner with Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama. That's one.
This might be the science geek in me. Henrietta Lacks.
Okay.
If you don't know who she is, she's basically the mother of cellular biology. Like any sort of testing that we have for cancer, like her cancer cells were taken, and there's a whole situation, court case. Anyway, a Black woman who has honestly revolutionized modern medicine. Given no credit, but I would love to speak to her just to find out about like what she thinks about where science has progressed because of her. So Michelle Obama, Henrietta Lacks. Quick fire. Michael Jackson.
Ooh.
I would. I just want to know what, like, he just seemed like such a talented man, but so tormented at the same time. Like, I want to speak to him to find out about, more about himself. Yeah. Oh my gosh, 2 more.
So far, those 3, yeah. You got Michelle Obama, Henrietta Lacks, Michael Jackson. Got 2 more.
The guy that owns Spotify. Hear me out. What is his name?
He's Scandinavian.
He's Swedish.
Yeah,
It's because I watched the
yeah.
Netflix documentary and I was just so inspired, but just so he has a great mind.
Yeah.
And to be able to create such a platform that has revolutionized, the music industry. I'd love to speak to him about being a pioneer in that industry. And then the fifth. Oh, I can't think of a fifth. That's a lot of people.
I'm gonna learn a whole lot. You're gonna learn a whole lot at that table.
I want to pour into me so that I can grow as a person. Someone off the cuff. Trump. Let's say Trump.
Okay.
I want to do Trump. Let's go with Trump.
Okay.
He's a wild card. He is a wild card, and I'm throwing Trump in there because I just want to understand the narcissism.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Let's put Trump in. No follow-up, just Trump.
Okay, that's an interesting table. So we have Michelle Obama, Henrietta Lacks, Michael Jackson, founder of Spotify, and then we have Trump. That is an interesting table.
I don't know if we're gonna make it out still ever the same.
I like that though.
No, that's a crazy.
That's a very diverse table.
That's actually. I think I'm gonna have to think about this after.
That's a good one, man. That's a very good one.
Wow.
And then lastly, who would you like to see on the Tech Time podcast?
Oh, since we've mentioned him, the lovely Peter Mutterly, the owner of PAX. Honestly, he is a minority ethnic man that has come and really, his company has changed the black hair business in the UK. He's also Caribbean, so he understands our heritage, our hair, and he's a great businessman. So, yeah, let's bring on.
That's a good shout. Yeah,
the great Peter Pax.
I may need your help in terms of getting him on, but
I'll drop him a text.
Nah, that's a really, really good shout. He was one of the people because there's a few people I had in mind that So I was like, that was one of the names that we'll
see what we can do.
Yeah, let's go, man. Let's make that happen, man. But that's it, man. Rehema, thank you so much.
Thank you
for coming on the first episode of the Tech Time podcast.
I'm honored.
It was an amazing discussion, man. It was so lit. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Follow on all of our platforms. They'll be placed below. And man, that's the first episode of the Tech Time podcast, the pilot, as they call it when it comes to series. And man, stay tuned for more episodes, man. Let's go.